So my name is Dr. Ervin Dyer. I live on the north side of Pittsburgh, but I'm a native of Richmond, Virginia. So my story begins in Richmond, Virginia. I grew up with 6 brothers and sisters in a community known as Jackson Ward. It was in the middle of the city. But every weekend, my father would do something special for us. We would visit his mother, my grandmother, Susie Dyer. Grandmother Susie, she lived on a farm about 30 minutes away. It was in Hanover County. And on this farm, she had pigs, she had chickens, she had goats. We could see the stars at night. We could watch the corn growing. We had strawberry fields. It was wonderful to be there. One of the best times that I had at my grandmother's house was sitting with her in her kitchen. She lived in a 4-room wooden house that her husband, my grandfather, built. And every weekend when we would visit her farm, I would sit with my grandmother in her kitchen. I'd be on one side of the table and my grandmother would sit on the other. She'd sit in a wooden chair and I would be, my earliest memories are of me being in 1st and 2nd grade. And I'm telling my grandmother Susie about my school days, right? What's happening during nap time, the kids on the playground. And I remember her just sitting and smiling and listening and giving me so much attention that she made me feel like every story I had to share was special. And so when I think of my grandmother Susie, I always think of her in that chair and the dreams she gave me, that it was important to tell your stories, that my story mattered. And what she really gave me when I think about it was the opportunity to dream that I could become a writer. So just by her listening, just by her paying attention to me when my cousins and my brothers and sisters are out in the yard running around with the chickens and having fun, the time that she gave me in her little kitchen from that little chair really deeply influenced my life. I became a journalist because of that. And because of my journalism career, I ended up here in Pittsburgh writing for the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. That is an amazing career that took me into the Black community of the Hill District and Homewood, Hazelwood, and other areas where Black people lived. So I sat with them and listened to them and began to tell their stories. That experience introduced me to August Wilson and his work in the Hill District, right, and the wonderful storyteller that he was. And it's because of those stories I got to know August Wilson a little bit. I eventually became associated with his house, where I work on a project where we have oral histories. We collect oral histories of Hill residents. But none of that would be possible if I had not sat with my grandmother in her kitchen, with her in that little chair, just telling me that my stories mattered.